Hey you guys. Basically with my channel, when I make YouTube videos, it's mostly about video games, anime, or genuinely just nerdy things and stuff. Um, Lately I've been making a lot of DMC videos, but I kind of feel bad for not making an anime video in a while. But this video is basically about the feels or that emotion you get when you see something when you get it's basically an emotion that you get that you normally don't feel, whether that be something super traumatic, whether it be something super sad, something that makes you angry. It's the feels mostly. 90% of the time it means that you feel sad or you feel something inside. As I said, inside something just burst out of her. Oh god. I would say about 2 or 3 years ago, my aunt had passed away, and when I went to her, when I first heard out, when I first heard about it, I didn't feel anything. I didn't feel sad. I didn't. I was like, oh, okay. It was just another day for me. And I would say a few days later, they had her funeral, and everybody around me was crying, and I did not cry for some reason. Normally, when it comes to my channel, I don't talk about personal things like this, so I'm sorry in advance. It's weird for me too. I know. Basically, I didn't have the feels in that moment, and I don't know why. I asked a lot of my friends, "Yo, what's wrong with me? Am I crazy? Am I going nuts? Am I a psychopath?" And they all said, "Yeah, yeah, that's a little weird, bro." I would say a year later, I ended up binge watching One Piece. I was actually binge watching for quite some time, but there's a specific part in the show that actually made me cry for some reason. No idea why. And prior to this, I didn't cry for at least a good 10 years or so. It's literally been quite some time since the last time I cried. It's been a while. And when I watch One Piece, there's a specific scene where it was a specific scene where a boat died. Yes, a freaking boat. All right, but to me, it wasn't just any boat. It was the Going Merry, and I bawled my eyes out when I saw this boat die. Like, I don't know why. To this day, I was like, hey, this is a really sad moment, and I just bawled out, bro. I just hugged my plush and just I was like, oh god, this is sad. And seeing the other Straw Hat members cry as well, I think that added on to it. Um, Now I went to my friends shortly after, and I asked them, uh, I cried over a boat, but not my own flesh and blood, my aunt. And I just, and then I asked them, is something wrong with me? Am I crazy? Am I a psychopath? And they're like, no. And we all talked about it, and they told me, hey, you had more emotional attachment, or you had more of the feels towards this boat than your aunt. And I was like, yeah. And then they asked me, hey, when's the last, like, did you see your aunt a lot? And I was like, no, I didn't. I barely saw her. I didn't really know a lot about her. But in that moment, in that social moment, other people would have cried, or at least felt something. But I didn't. But for a boat, literally a boat in an anime, The Going Merry, I cried. It was sad. I felt the feels in that moment. I felt emotional, like I guess you call them emotional in that moment. That's what the feels is to me. There are many parts of different shows where you actually get the feels. For example, you know that moment when you're a kid and you're watching Dragon Ball Z. That moment when I saw Goku go Super Saiyan for the very first time, bro, that got me. I felt, some people call it getting hyper, but I felt hype. I felt the power rushing through me. I felt that exhilaration, that the endorphins in my brain, the blood rushed throughout my body. I felt that stuff. I felt it. When Goku went Super Saiyan for the first time, a lot of kids, just like me, we sat there and we powered up just like Goku. Or when we seen him go for his next transformation, the Super Saiyan 3 or the Super Saiyan 2, we saw that, and we emulated that we emulated that feeling that Goku had, that rush, that intense feels moment. Even now, I still get the feels from Dragon Ball Z with Dragon Ball Super. That's another reason why I still watch the show in the first place. Some people say that Shonen's dead, or Shonen, like, is kind of trashy. But me personally, I like all kinds of genres, but shonen in particular gives me that nostalgic feel of, oh my god, so epic, cool fights and awesomeness and blood rushing. That's what another reason why I like Dragon Ball Z and some shonen series and whatnot. But that's another version of the feels, that intense feeling you get that you normally don't get. And in day-to-day life, like, how are you going to get that feeling from, you maybe like you're fighting somebody, but other than that, like, you're not going to get that feeling any other way. Now, with this show, this movie, Grave of Fireflies, this movie hit me hard. Like, I don't want to, I kind of don't want to spoil anything, so if you've never seen this, this movie before, I want you to skip to the next thing that I'm going to talk about. But with Grave of Fireflies, it hit me like a truck. Like, in some horror movies where they don't have any scary scenes throughout the whole movie, but then they have that one part and it actually gets you? That's how Grave of Fireflies is, but for sadness and extreme emotion. When the main character's little sister had passed away in the movie, like, I'm getting goosebumps while talking about this. It made me sad. It made me cry, and for a few days I felt depressed, and I normally don't feel that on the day-to-day basis. And the thing is, this movie was based off of a true story, and I felt like I can connect to the animators' humanity that way through the feels. It was ridiculous. This movie is good. If you've never watched it, which you probably skip the next thing, but if you've watched it, congratulations. If you haven't watched it, then you need to go and watch it because it's actually that good. It will give you the feels 100%. I can guarantee it. Freaking School Days. Okay, with this whole show, I kind of binge watched it. It was bad, but it was good at the same time. It's kind of hard to explain. But I sat here and I binge watched the entire show in like 2 days with small breaks in between. But throughout the whole thing, I kept getting more and more depressed. Like, you can feel that it was going downhill. You can feel it actually go downhill as you were watching it. And towards the end, spoiler alert if you haven't seen it, go to the next one and whatnot. So, the main character dies in the end. It was, oh god, it scared the crap out of me. I felt sad. I felt depressed. Everything that they did at the like halfway throughout the show scared the crap out of me. I thought it was just a normal romance anime until someone told me, oh yeah, it's not. And I was like, oh. And I want to see the rest of it, and I did. And oh my god, I didn't feel the same emotion as Grave of Fireflies. That's what's weird. A lot of different shows have their own emotional feels to them, but with this show, it was anger, it was sadness, it was I don't know, some excitement somewhere in there. It was weird, and I never want to see it again. But it was a good experience overall, and it gave me the feels. Okay, we're going to go for something a little bit more lighthearted this time. Yes, it's Baka and Tess. This particular show made me extremely happy. Like, from point A to point B, it made me happy. From season 1 to season 2, I had the feels throughout the entire show. There wasn't a point in the show where I was like, hey, the show is bad, has bad animation. No. Throughout the show, it had good animation, good characters, it was funny. It was non-stop laughter throughout the whole thing. That's why I liked it, and that's why it gave me, it basically just gave me the feels. It gave me the feels throughout the whole thing. And basically, Hideyoshi is Bae. Number 1 Bae or number 2 Bae, it's up to you. And by the way, this video was, this video is a gateway anime. If you want a friend and you want to get them into anime and they like comedy and whatnot, Baka and Tess is the way to go. I made a video on Baka. I made a video on the gateway anime. If you want to watch it, it's on the screen right now. It's an older video. It's pretty bad, but it's a video nonetheless. Yeah, the feels. That's another way you can get the feels. It's from wholesome happiness is what I would personally call it, and that's why I like Baka and Tess. Next up is Kodomo Jikan. I'm joking. I am joking. 100% joking. 100%. It's just a meme. It's just a lolly joke. It's just a meme. Ignore it. Ignore what I just said. It was a joke. Actually, though, Steins Gate. It's a show that delves deeper into the descent of madness. You can actually feel the character himself just slowly go mad and crazy. And I like the comedy as well. It's a good mix that makes it a little bit more lighthearted at times.
You look adorable! I've never been so embarrassed before.
Don't be embarrassed. You're the prettiest boy these goofballs have ever seen.
Balls are not, man. I would so hit that.
But at other times, it gets super dramatic and scary, and you're just like, oh my god, and your brain has like this crazy F-fest of just crap. I don't know how to explain it in words, but you go crazy while watching the show, but it gives you a sense of relief after everything is okay. And then the show keeps going. Season 1, Season 2, Season 3, several, I think it's like 1 or 2 movies, but like the whole thing is good. The characters, the animation, the art, not the newer one's kind of like iffy, but everything is good with the show, and it gives you the feels in that way. I would say the descent into madness is that particular feel, but it's also a sense of relief that feels as well. I'm gonna give up this video to another host real quick. A friend of mine, aka OG. Original Grover. Go.
Yeah, I am Grover, so hi. That name kind of stuck with me because I look like Grover, and if you ever like see the picture, I don't know if you do. I do, but I don't have goat legs, or maybe I do. You can't see me, so I might be half goat.
In a politically correct term, satyr.
Okay, my feelings on like anime, it's pretty basic. It's like I get happy emotions, sad emotions, but like it's really rare, you know. I was crying once because I was watching The Seven Deadly Sins, and it was a moment where Bond and this fox werewolf guy had I guess they was like having a moment, and Bond was sitting there having flashbacks of when he was a kid and some guy saved him and taught him how to be a thief, and Bond knew the guy, and the guy didn't know that was Bond. So I kind of cried because like I was like, hey, that's like a heartwarming moment. That's rare. We don't have those every day. And plus the backstory, the fox went and told his backstory. He was telling how he was sad that his son died and that his other son, technically, was in jail because he had a choice: either save Bond or to go save his little coupling. I guess that's what you can call them. And he went to go save his actual son, and it was already too late. He was dead. So I felt like he had what is the word for it? Remorse, because he had to choose, and that's not every day. Another one is when I was watching an anime movie called Children Who Chase Lost Voices. There was a girl in it, and she got choked up, like really bad choked up, and she was like told to go home, and she went on this amazing journey and ended up having to go home and got choked up and was shooting out the ground. And I got scared because like she did all this just to die, and I was like, that's kind of messed up, you know. I didn't want her to die, and I was kind of, I guess, mad and kind of sad about it. I don't know. Had mixed emotion feelings, mostly like mad about that. And then there was another one, Secret Life of Ariadne. It was like towards the ending, she and the giant, because she was like really small, like shorter than me. She and the giant helped her get away, and the giant kept going back and seeing her, and she would, you know, I don't know. it just made me feel really happy because she always knew that the Giants wasn't all bad. It was just this one mean old lady, which I think all ladies are mean old ladies are just mean and old, and they got something stuck in their head that they need to take medicine. I'm just saying, but and that made me happy. I guess that made me really happy to see that her thought was what she thought it was, that not all giants are really bad. So I don't know. It just made me feel really happy because she always knew that the Giants wasn't all bad. It was just this one mean old lady, which I think all ladies are mean old ladies are just mean and old, and they got something stuck in their head that they need to take medicine. I'm just saying, but and that made me happy. I guess that made me really happy to see that her thought was what she thought it was, that not all giants are really bad. So
And on that note, if there's an anime that gave you the feels at one point, leave it in the comments down below. I reply to every single comment, or at least 99% of them, or 90% of them, and I'll reply. I'll reply to anything you say. If you type in butt chickens, and I'll be like, hey, that's funny, or I'll reply back. You know what I mean. But if anything, if you guys want to be a part of something that gives you the feels like any other thing, you guys already know I'm a game dev, and I've been making a game for quite a while, and I also need help making this game. It's like Dark Souls, Berserk, any type of dark fantasy series or something. It has a lot of feels in it. I have a lot of story to it. I'm also creating a manga for it as well. It's a really good series. I don't want to give the name to it just yet because I, copyright and whatnot. And I don't want anybody to take it. But yeah. Honestly, at one point I had at least 3 or 4 patrons, and they were helping out quite a bit. And it's going to take me quite a while to finish this game. I've gotten a few fan arts, and I love it, and it's super dope. It's going to take me a while to finish this game at my current pace, because I have to use my own real-world money, my YouTube money, and the money I make on my job. So the perks are actually pretty good. Like, if you become a patron, you can, there's perks that can make you a character in the game, or your name will be in the game, or you can design your own character. You can talk to me on Discord about the game and whatnot, or about other things if you wanted to become part of the Discord group. There are many perks. This one is mostly as a joke, but overall it's pretty funny. If you guys want to talk about this game in vivid detail, I can give you guys like the entire story. Just even if you donate like $3, like that's good. That's good. That will help the game in the long run. All of the proceeds will go towards the game. I'm not the type of scammery kind of person, and I give you frequent updates on the game as I'm making it, or as I'm making progress on it. And that's what I did in the past with other people that have donated. If anything, like, subscribe, and peace out.